Welcome to our channel. My name is Tracy. I'm the keeper of the home here at 4D Farms, where we are all about faith, family, home, and farm. I hope you find something on our channel that will encourage you and inspire you on your journey. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, hit like and subscribe, and be sure to turn that little notifications bell on so you'll get notified every time a brand new video is uploaded. We hope to see you in each and every one. Thanks for watching. Hey y'all, Tracy here with Keeper of the Home at 4D Farms. Y'all, welcome to today's video. We're just gonna have a little chit chat, okay? Don't mind the sun, it's my friend today because I'm relishing in it. It feels good on my face, it feels good to my body. And I'm drying some blankets out here so y'all don't mind my laundry sitting behind me. I really would like a clothesline in my backyard. I remember what it feels like to get in a set of sheets with some shaved legs and smell the outdoors on your sheets or on your towels, your washcloths, your dish towels, hand towels. Y'all, the sun is my friend, okay? I was born in the summertime. I'm a water baby. There you go. Anyway, y'all just don't mind it today. We're going to hang out in the sunshine today and a little bit of breeze and get some fresh air in our bodies. We're going to talk about food today. One of my favorite subjects. My husband teases me all the time. If I'm cranky, I'm snappy, a little bit of irritable, I either need a nappy or I need a snacky. And he's like, I know how to handle you. Either send you to bed or throw you some chocolate. Ooh, okay. Just feed me. Okay, that's just me, okay? So I get teased a lot. I'm okay. Just make sure I get a nap and something to eat. I'm like a dog, just feed and water me every once in a while. Let me go curl up in my little bed and I'll be fine. I don't require much maintenance, okay? Let's talk about food. Y'all know I've been on the bread making journey in my bread making series. For one, I just love bread, y'all. I love bread. The smell of freshly baked bread is one of my favorite smells. The next smell I love is coffee brewing. Lilac. I love the smell of lilacs. That's three of my favorite smells. And everybody's like, well, I can't eat this. I can't eat this because it causes stomach issues. I can't eat. I get it. And then a lot of people's like, I can't cook from scratch all the time. I don't have the time to cook from scratch all the time. I gotta get convenience. I gotta go get that packaged meatballs, that package this, that pack. I get it. Life happens. You're busy. You got a schedule. You got to keep up with the kids' activities. I was there. I've been on both sides of the fence. I've said this 100 times. I've been on the working side and I've been on the homemaker side. I used what I could to feed my family. So we didn't starve. Somebody had to put food on the table. My husband provided. I turned it into a meal. This is how we survived. This is how we ate. But then when I became a homemaker and we purchased our land and we were able to start having our own garden, I got more conscious of the things we were putting into our bodies. Hence why I started growing a garden. I purchased goats for milk. They were not for meat purchases because my goats were milk producing goats, dairy goats, and they were registered through the American Dairy Goat Association. Each one of them had an extensive pedigree. And chickens. And we hunt. okay, to supplement some meats, you know, to save money on the grocery bill. I became more conscious. And then I tried to start helping people see this. And a lot of people have caught on, and a lot of people are still stuck right here in this realm. I don't have the time. I don't have access to gardening, to animals. I can't homestead. We live in an apartment. We live in the suburbs. We live in an HOA. I can't have all that stuff. Neighborhood, HOA neighborhood, subdivision. I can't have all that stuff. I get it. Honestly, I get it. I completely understand. Okay? I've been there. But before we started gardening, before we purchased our land and we started gardening and I started learning all these things and learning about where our food comes from, because y'all, I was raised, my grandparents had a farm. I remember my grandmother milking the cow. I remember my papa out there with 2 old mules tilling the garden, planting the seeds. We all worked in that garden. We learned some work ethics. We learned where our food came from. We ate that food. My grandmother was the chicken raising queen. She could gather some fertilized eggs, bring those babies in, incubate them, raise more chickens. She'd tell my papa, we need some lunch. Go get me a chicken. That chicken that's on the table was walking around in that yard about an hour before that. I promise you that. You want to talk about fresh chicken? We had fresh chicken. Okay? I knew that when I got older, I wanted to continue this practice. But I got stuck in that realm back here for a while. I don't have access to a garden. I got to buy these ingredients. I got to rely on the grocery store. We were in a subdivision, a nice neighborhood, had HOA rules. Didn't like them. And I'm like, you know what? And I longed for that. I longed to get my hands in dirt and plant those seeds and do all that. My neighbor, she's got the dogs out again, playing Frisbee. They love it. I remember having my hands in the dirt, and I longed for it again, y'all. I wanted my hands in the dirt, plant those little seeds, plant those big seeds, watch it grow, and then produce that vegetable or that fruit, and then you bring it in and you eat it. Y'all, I didn't mind shucking the corn. I didn't mind digging the taters. I didn't mind hulling the butter beans till I thought my thumbs were gonna fall off. Whew. I didn't mind it because I knew what we were fixing to eat was going to be good. We're going to get to that too in a minute. I yearned for it. I longed for it. So before we could do all these things, we started looking for ways that I could get fresh ingredients. We started finding like little places where we could find like some bushels of corn on a cob, farmers markets, anybody, a farmer selling something fresh, you know, or just having an overabundance of friends and family that were growing gardens, things like that. And putting it on the table. I wanted to get back into it so bad. And then when we were able we purchased our land and we were able to start gardening. And then I got back in to start learning how to can and preserve those things. My late mother-in-law refreshed my memory. And then I taught myself some things. And, you know, I rolled with it because it started working on my conscience. What am I putting into my body? What's in these ingredients? The questions like that will make you start chasing rabbit holes. When I was little, let me go back to my thought. I hear people saying, I can't eat this. It causes issues. Y'all, why all of a sudden are we having nut allergies? please don't take this offensively. I am not making fun of or condoning anyone for having gut issues or nut allergies or anything like that. But why all of a sudden in the past decade, it kind of makes you wonder. Y'all, I remember going out there and finding a bag of peanuts that my papa would get, and we would sit there and open them suckers up and just eat them fresh out of the hull. What happened to our food? Let me give you a little bit of history, and then we'll get back to our today. I'll tell you where I think some of our food went wrong. Let me take you back to the Bible days. I've said it 100 times, and I'm going to keep saying it until it clicks and that light bulb goes off. God made everything on this earth for our purpose, our sustainability, our substance. When He got done creating everything, He said, "It is good." I believe that. I believe it. I believe it. God has nothing but good intentions for us. Okay? He has nothing but good intentions for us. He wants to take care of us. Even the pioneers, a lot of preservation methods did not come along until after or at the end of like the pioneer days, when they started figuring out about water bathing, curing, fermenting, pressure canning, things like that. And did y'all know that in the pioneer days, I remember I read through the whole series of books, Little House in the Big Woods by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I learned some things, how they did some things, how they preserved some things. Did y'all know that sourdough came across the prairie? Sourdough was probably formed way before then, before commercial yeasts were made. Did y'all know that? And I caught that in one of her books, and I'm like, I wonder if she was talking about her mom making the bread, and I was like, I wonder if she's talking about sourdough. Sure enough, she was talking about sourdough. Anybody else read that? Anybody going through those books? You need to with your kids. You need to just go through it for yourself. I enjoyed that series of books. Anyway, I'm like, she's talking about sourdough. So they must have used starters. Cha-ching! They didn't have commercial yeasts back then. In the Bible, unleavened bread. No yeast. Get it? They didn't have some things. They would have to get fresh. Okay? They would have to get fresh. Pioneers would have to literally take their grains. They didn't have long-term shelf-stable ability back then. To keep their butter fresh and their milk fresh, they kept it in the well house. They kept it in there to keep it cold, because that well water was cold, okay? Spring water. Whatever they cooked at night for supper, they just left it out, y'all, kind of covered it up, had it for breakfast the next morning. They didn't waste it. They didn't have refrigerators to store leftovers in. Let's see what else. They would have to take their grain to the mill in town and have them, if they didn't have a little grain mill or have a way to grind it, they would have to take it to the mill in town and have some milled fresh, and then take that home, bake their bread and stuff. Okay? They didn't have all this long-term storage stuff. They didn't have all these preservatives. We're going to get into that in a minute too. Okay. Y'all, I purchased a loaf of bread one time. I do make bread, and I do sometimes have to purchase bread. Like when we're on work trips, I got to depend on the grocery store. I can't go to my freezer or my pantry and pull out the fresh ingredients that we've grown, things like that, and go cook with them. I have to rely on the grocery store. And I don't like it. I mean, yes, we eat. No, we don't starve. But after a little bit, I can start telling our gut is just, ooh, I don't feel so good. My belly hurts. I know I talk a lot about making meals from scratch. And homemade meals, homemade this, cooking from scratch. And yes, some of these meals are homemade and from scratch, but it's still with ingredients that you probably buy from the store. Okay. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, we go out to eat a lot. It's still homemade from scratch right there in the restaurant. Isn't that considered homemade? This is where you need to run your rabbit holes. Let me chase a rabbit right quick. Start reading labels. Start reading labels, whether you're in the grocery store or you're at a restaurant. From experience, let me say this. We used to own a restaurant when I was a little girl. I hated it. From a child's point of view, I was the dishwasher. I hated it. I hated having to go somewhere in that restaurant, finding a quiet place to just try to get my homework done and study for tests. We spent the majority of our time there when I just wanted to be in my bedroom playing, in my own bed sleeping, taking a nappy, just in my own front yard, backyard, running around playing. I'm in a restaurant and I'm working. Child's point of view, I didn't understand at the time. This was how we were providing for our family, making an income, and we all worked as a team. I didn't get that when I was little. I do now. Sorry, Mama, if I ever complained. But, yes, restaurants do make things from scratch, and it's a homemade meal. But same goes for restaurant food as it does for the ingredients that you get on the shelf at the grocery store. Here's what I mean. If you know anything about a restaurant business, restaurants have to order their ingredients, their groceries from large commercial restaurant supply stores. Whew, that's a mouthful. Let me give you an example. Cisco. I don't know what other brands, what other companies are out there today, but I remember seeing a bunch of Cisco trucks, okay, running up and down the highways, the interstates. I've passed a bunch. If I passed you, hello. When I was little, I remember Pocahontas being the brand, because we would unload these boxes of groceries, the big canisters of tomatoes. Okay, we unloaded the boxes, we put them on the shelves in the storage room, yes, or in the freezers. Okay, labels. This is where your food comes from the restaurant suppliers, from the grocery stores, to wherever. Food nowadays, or back in the old days, it was from the farmers, okay? Let me back up and say this. Some restaurants in certain areas will have an employee or somebody that will go to places that have marketplaces, okay? They do this in the Middle East. There's big towns in the Middle East, yes, that have grocery stores and stuff like that. Some villages and things like that in the Middle East still depend on these farmers, agriculturalists, whatever they're called, to sell their products or trade, barter at stands in the marketplace, in the villages, in town, and people can go and purchase their daily food. Some of that practice is in the United States. I don't know what your practices are in other countries. I know I've got some people that view my channel from Canada, Australia. Hi, y'all. Welcome. And I have a few viewers from other countries. I don't know what it's like in your area, but in the United States, there are still some fresh markets. Japan, China, places like that where people still go and shop fresh, get their ingredients. Okay? Coastal lines where you can go to a market and get fresh caught fish, shrimp, lobster, crab, oysters, bring it home, fix it fresh right then and eat it. We're in places where we just got to go to the grocery store, okay? My point being, back then, the idea came along to start mass producing food in commercial factories. Yes, it was convenient. Yes, they're putting out more food for people to purchase. Yes, that's good. But somewhere along the line, we started playing with our food. Because, yes, it was producing food faster, but people were not purchasing it fast enough and things were starting to ruin. They got to come up with this idea. They got science involved, got labs involved. We need to come up with some kind of preservatives. I don't think a lot of the food that we're putting in our bodies is it's not the food that's supposed to be making us sick. The food is supposed to be good. We have that little pyramid, that food pyramid. All this stuff is supposed to be good for us. Even carbs, even starches. There's grains, rice, dairy. They're supposed to be good for us. People in the Middle East still depend on those goats for the milk, the sheep for the milk. The dairy, turning around and turning it into cheese. All this food is supposed to be good for us. It's what they started putting in our food when they started mass producing it too fast and it was ruining too quick. Here's an example. I bought a loaf of bread one time. We ate all, but we were down to the last 3 pieces. And it got shoved behind something. I remember when I bought this bread, and I remember when I was cleaning out the pantry, because I came across that loaf that had 3 little slices left in it, and I'm like, oh, there's where you went to. Y'all, it had been 2.5 months that I lost them 3 pieces of bread, it shoved in the back of my pantry somewhere. I was like, ooh, this is going to be nasty. Y'all, I got to looking at that. Wasn't a spot of mold on it whatsoever. Made me wonder, what did I just put in my body? This is perfectly preserved. No mold, no nothing, no spots. No little hair growing on it. What did I just put in my body? If it was preserved 2.5 months. Do y'all know what happens to fresh bread after you bake it and it's been sitting for like a week? You know what starts happening to fresh food after about a week? It starts growing them little hairs, so it turns into mold. That's how you know it's the good stuff. It's fresh. But this bread, whoo, preservatives is the problem. Preservatives. I know a lot of people say, I can't eat bread. I love my bread, y'all. Do not take my bread from me. The Bible says He supplies our daily bread. Not our daily kale and broccoli and spinach. I'm going to eat my bread. He provides, I'm going to eat it. It's what's in it. It's not the bread. And if I haven't touched on this in my bread making series, we're going to talk about it right now. It's not the gluten. It's not how the bread is made. First of all, it can be the flour. I'm not knocking all-purpose flour, y'all. I'm not, because I use it every once in a while. It's a staple in our home. I do use it sometimes. But I also understand the science that happened in that process to get that all-purpose flour bag on the shelf. Number one, it was milled and separated. I think we've talked about this. They took the germ and the bran out to sell to the farmers for the animals. We got the scraps that was left, which doesn't hold a lot of nutritional value, just a teeny tiny bit. The wham bam package of nutrients, like taking one multivitamin a day, came from the germ and the bran, and that's what they took away from us to go to the animals. This is why I got into grinding my own grain, or if this video comes out before, I'm getting into learning grains, buying wheat berries. I've got an attachment that goes on my KitchenAid stand mixer to mill the berries into flour. I bought my mama a Nutri-Mill grain mill that now she can take the berries that I give her, make her some nutritional bread. We get all the good stuff. We get to keep all that stuff. We get to keep the bran and the germ. A lot of it goes back to what was removed, which was 99% of the good stuff. We're just getting what's left, which doesn't hold a lot of nutritional value. Sometimes some people can digest it better than others. Don't let them talk you into telling you it's the gluten. You need to stay away from that. Gluten is nothing but the stretch. That's all. You gotta have gluten to form that stretch. And yes, you can still accomplish this by using whole grains. Okay? That's why I got into, or we're getting into, researching and learning about whole grains, grinding that grain down into flour, and we get to keep all that stuff and turn it around into nutritious bread, where I can still have my bread. Okay, I won't go there. Nutritious bread. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? The food is supposed to be good for us. It's the things that's going into our food. I also know what happens to that bag of flour for long. Look up how all-purpose flour is preserved, or sacks of flour, cornmeal, anything, preserved for shelf life. Look it up. They put preservatives in there. I want y'all to start running some rabbit holes. Start reading labels. Start researching the preservatives that's in these cans, these bags, these packages. Break down those long scientific words, and they're beginning to disguise a lot of words. They think we're not smart enough to look this stuff up. Start running your rabbit holes. Read your labels. There's also a kind of formaldehyde in preservatives? I remember biology class. And biology 2. I remember what that little worm, frog, and pig looked like. How well preserved it was, and they're just looking at you, and you got to dissect this thing. Y'all know how well preserved those was. The more I chase rabbits, the more I learn, the more I try to share. I know everybody's not able to grow a garden, preserve food, go to a market somewhere, because some places we don't have access to fresh markets. But if you've got friends and neighbors that have overabundance of fruits and vegetables, ask them, could you kindly purchase some from them if they have any extra? Farmers markets, co-ops, shares, agricultural shares, farm shares. There's another. FFAs, school FFA programs. Our local high school every year gives everyone, the public, a chance to purchase corn that they grow through the FFA. Check into that. You're supporting your school, you're supporting your farmers, you're supporting your friends and your family that's growing these things. Try to make, and I'm not telling you to go all out on a limb and break the bank. I'm just telling you, make little changes here and there. If you're still making bread with all-purpose flour, which sometimes I still do, y'all, go for either the organic or go for unbleached. Little bitty changes that you can make in your diet, in your freezers, in your pantries, that doesn't turn around and cause gut issues. Okay? Irritable bowel, leaky gut syndrome, Crohn's disease. Okay? Gut issues. Read labels. Please read labels. Read labels. Because also remember, these restaurants are getting some of their same ingredients from some of these companies that's going to have the same preservatives in it because of the cans, long shelf life. Research the preservatives, research the ingredients that's in them. Start understanding what you're buying. Start understanding what you're putting in your food. All I can do is encourage you to just start making little changes in your diet. Let me give you another hint. All the things that they're pushing and commercializing that you see on TV and advertising and telling us, go get this, go get this, go get this, is the same things that's causing people allergens, gut issues, health problems. You know why? They can't make money off of healthy people. Food for thought. Can't make money off healthy people. We're going to the doctors. How come doctors don't start off first by telling us, have you thought about changing your diet? Have you thought about watching what you eat, what you put into your body? Are you getting fresh fruits and vegetables? You drinking plenty of water? Are you watching your sugar intake? Have you ever thought about some natural supplements? Doctors aren't supposed to mention those things. They're supposed to be pushing pharmaceuticals because they have joint contracts with these pharmaceutical companies. And they're supposed to be pushing the medications. Oh, you got You got leaky gut syndrome. You got irritable bowel. You got Crohn's. You got this. You got diabetes. Let me write you a prescription right quick. I'm asking everyone to start reading labels. Start getting more conscious of the preservatives. Research the preservatives. The preservation process in these factories. What are they putting in there to make it last so long? And in turn, I'm putting that in my body. Please just start researching. Then light bulbs will start going off. Then just make little bitty changes. I started out, I've been making bread for years, depending on self-rising flour, all-purpose flour. Yes. I didn't know anything else. But then the more I started learning, the more I started researching, I was like, okay, let me make some little changes. I switched to either organic or unbleached. Bleach. Look it up. All-purpose flour also goes through a bleaching process. Research. Then if you want to go one step further, start researching some grains like I did. That's why I started, hey, why can't I just start purchasing the berries organically grown from a trusted company and get me a grinder and turn it around and getting all that nutritional value for myself instead of splitting it and I only get what's left. They don't want us to figure these things out, y'all. Be smart. If you eat at a restaurant and all of a sudden you get home and you're like, there's a restaurant that we've just had to stop eating at because my husband just honestly cannot eat the food. It messes him up every time. And no, I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant because I'm not going to down this restaurant. You may be able to eat at it and you're fine and I don't want to hurt their business. I'm not going to do that. But he can't. And I think it's because of some of the food that they do cook with and where they get it from. Something is in it that just does not agree with him. It's the preservatives. Because I know, what is it that he gets sometimes? I don't honestly remember, y'all. I know that potato is, so I'm just going to give you an example. I know that potato is supposed to be good for me. God made that potato. Any food. But where did we go wrong? It's what they started playing with their food. They started putting things in it that didn't go just to make it last longer on the shelf. Preservatives. Please start researching the preservatives, the ingredients that's in the can of corn. I don't know. Start researching. Start breaking down those ingredients and see exactly what they are, the side effects of them, what they can cause. Start doing your own research. That's all I'm asking. And then once light bulbs start going off, my son's going. Once those light bulbs start going off, just start making little changes. If at all possible, just start making little changes. Y'all, if you don't have a garden spot, did you know that you can grow a squash plant or a zucchini plant in a container on your back porch, your front porch, and make it look pretty? Yes. If you know of somebody who raises cows, who hunts, if you like venison, who raises chickens, who has some eggs, pigs, see if maybe they have an extra surplus that maybe you can purchase. You're supporting them. You're getting a better quality product without all this extra stuff in it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we hunt, We harvest our own stuff. We package it. We put it in the freezer. That thing went from running around into the woods to in our freezer a few days later. We didn't inject all this stuff in it, these preservatives in it, all these gases in it. Research how chicken is preserved. Children, research how chicken and stuff is preserved in the grocery store. Y'all, I want to go back. When my husband retires, I done told him we're going back to raising our own chickens. He can raise the meat birds. I'll raise the ladies for the eggs. We're going to get back to it. We can't right now because we travel. He's still working. I got to do what I got to do. Okay? We're raising cows now. We're going to have our own beef. I love, he's the beef eater. I'm the chicken eater. I am dying to raise me some more chickens. But I'd like to find somebody that maybe sells chickens that we can purchase some from and don't go through all this preservation stuff, okay? We have a local person that we buy a share of a hog from. He raises the hogs. We buy the share. He has them butchered. We pick out the choice cuts of meat that we want, how we want it broke down. Then we buy it. We know how that pig was raised. It was raised humanely. It don't have all these preservatives. We know who butchered it. We know who's processing it. We know how they're preserving it. We purchase from them. Sometimes us and our children will go in thirds. We're raising cows for our own beef. We're going to get back into raising chickens one day. We get a hog. Sometimes we still have to rely on the grocery store because, like I said, when I travel, I can't go to my freezer and my pantry for all my fresh stuff that we've got in there. Our deer meat, our pork chops from that hog that we bought. It kills me to go to the grocery store, but we gotta eat. I just try to buy healthy that I can, read the labels, stuff like that. We've got to where we don't eat out a lot because of the same thing. And I gotta watch how I cook for my husband because of his pre-diabetic stage. I gotta watch. I try to cook the best I can with what I've got at that moment till we get back home and whew, I got all my fresh ingredients. I'm just asking you right now, read your labels, start researching those preservatives, start researching how things are mass produced, the preservation methods for longer shelf life, like that loaf of bread. I do not know what was in that, but I put that in my body. Okay? And just start making little changes. Reach out to people if you want fresher ingredients. Try to find some way that you can. Okay? That's all I can ask you to do to where you can start making some changes in your diet, in your body. Start getting your body well if you've had some issues. That's all I'm asking. I'm glad we talked about food. Now I'm hungry. But I got to go find something healthy to eat. I'm not going for a snacky. It's almost supper time. Okay, y'all. Now, I'm not going to admit, I like them little chocolate chip cookies every once in a while. I like that Snickers candy bar every once in a while. And I do fall short. Yes, I do. I fall to temptation. I do. They're calling my name sometimes. But when I can, I make healthy little treats at home. Okay? I make our own granola. I make our own granola bars. I make healthy little treats by now substituting better flours. I make better breads. I make better meals. Just by making small little changes that I can. But like I said, I'm not expecting you to break the bank. And I understand everybody can't do this. But any little changes, small changes that you can make is better than nothing at all. I've enjoyed our conversation. I hope I've helped you somehow. Like I said, y'all, God made everything for our purpose. It's supposed to be good because He said it is good. I trust that. I believe it. They need to quit playing with their food. They can't make money off healthy people. That should make a light bulb go off. I hope I have encouraged you somehow. I hope I've educated you somehow, because y'all, it has taken me years to find out all this stuff, research all this stuff, make little changes. I didn't do this overnight. I've been on this journey for a long time. Some things made sense back then. Some things make sense now. Some things that took longer for that light bulb to go off. Okay? When they just want to keep pushing pills down your throat, there's got to be a stopping point somewhere. Because you see all these commercials on TV. Oh, this helps this, but it may cause this: constipation, diarrhea, memory loss, certain types of cancers. What's the point? Okay? I'm just asking y'all, start doing your research. Some more things to research is the dyes. The food colorings, the food dyes. Start researching the side effects of all those. The other ingredients, the gums, not the chewing gums, but the gum is the ingredient. I cannot think of it off the top of my head. Read your labels. Please start doing some research. Chase them rabbits down them holes. Come up with a plan. Get on a healthier road. Start just making little small changes. We changed salts to Himalayan salt, sea salt, black Himalayan salt, Redmond's real salt, because of where they actually get the minerals from. Okay? Little small changes. Change your flours. Change your sugars. Sugar's good. Sugar's good. But they also process sugars, y'all. There's a difference in the sugars. There's a difference in refined sugars, store-bought sugars, than pure cane sugar. Start researching the difference between all the sugars. You'll see what I'm talking about. Y'all, I know this video's been long. I hope you took notes. I hope I made some light bulbs go off. I hope I've encouraged you to do your own research. I'm not a medical professional. I don't have a license or a degree in squat. Some things just make sense, y'all. God made the food. It's supposed to be good. They need to quit playing with it. Okay? Change the way you cook it. Sometimes you can cook something to death where it cooks all the vitamins and the minerals out. Steaming is good. Steaming your vegetables is better than baking it to death. Okay? Some preservations are better than others. Y'all, the Amish, the Mennonites, other countries have some preservation methods that preserve all those nutrients and they don't spoil. Y'all, if you've got some people in your community that can teach you these skills, ask them, do they mind sharing that with you? My next journey, y'all, is to try to learn sourdough. My mama absolutely loves sourdough bread. I know it's good for her. It's fermented. Y'all check into the benefits of fermented foods, no matter what it is. Start out something simple like learning how to make your own yogurt. I make some for us. I do a crock pot yogurt. Okay? I've changed the way I make breads and desserts and stuff by using a different flour. I want to get into sourdough. I'm still intimidated. I want to learn sourdough because my mama loves it. And we've been on this journey to heal her gut from leaky gut syndrome. Y'all, my mother got down physically. And it was a learning curve. He didn't, and this doctor didn't prescribe a bunch of medication. He prescribed a strict, leaky gut syndrome is healable. It's healable. Strict diet, strict and mega doses of probiotics. Fermented foods was right there at the top of the list. Fermented foods like sauerkraut, yogurt, kefir. Some people pronounce it kefir, some people pronounce it kefir, I think is how it's supposed to be pronounced, but we shorten it and say kefir. Sprouts, grains, the whole grain. Don't give me that crap that's left. Did I say yogurt? Fermented food, sauerkraut, yogurt, kefir. There's another one, y'all. Kombucha. I don't know nothing about kombucha, but I know sourdough is fermented bread. She can still have her bread. Also, if you substitute and use whole grains and you mill that down into flour and then you turn around and bake that bread with the whole grains, 99% of the nutrition is still in that flour because you got the whole berry, the whole grain. Y'all research a grain, a wheat berry, a whole grain. Research the nutritional value of the germ, the bran, and the endosperm, and all of it together. You're getting a double whammy using whole grains milled into flour and then turn it into fermented sourdough bread. She's able to eat bread now. She's happy. I can still have my bread. Dear hubby can have bread when it's done right. What else? Can y'all get with somebody to maybe try to learn these skills? I'm going to have to get with somebody to teach me sourdough. I did my own research with the berries and stripped down that information and started using it and then got what I needed to start doing this with. Just little bitty changes at a time is all you got to make to get your health better, okay? Leaky gut syndrome is healable, so all is not lost, okay? I'm just asking you, start reading your labels, start chasing those rabbit holes, start researching how things are preserved, the preservatives that they use to go in it, the side effects, what it can do to your body. Let's start being a little more mind conscious about our food and get back to the realization that God made it. It is good. It's good for our bodies. We just got to outsmart them. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. I know it's long. I apologize. I get on a roll with something. I'm passionate about it, and I just want to just talk about it, okay? But I hope some light bulbs has gone off, and I hope I've helped somehow, okay? Do your research. Let's outsmart them. I will see y'all in the next one.